Hi, everybody. Happy Thursday. I'm Juliet, and this is UX and Tame. And if you were with me last week, September is all about talking about building community. For me, I think it has been one of the most empowered tools while changing careers. And honestly, as an immigrant, I think being in different type of communities and being part of those have been helped me in so many ways. But this month is all about how community has been empowering in different ways in our career. And for today, we have Cristina. And before I keep talking about who's Cristina, let's ask her. I think that's easier. Hello, hello. How are you? Nice
Hi,
to have you
Juliet.
here.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
Yes, yes, yes. This is so nice. We were just behind the scene. We were just talking about when we met and how long we've been meeting each other. But before we start into the serious stuff, why don't you tell us about you? Who's Christina?
Yeah, my name is Cristina Lutkan. I pronounce her she, her. I am originally from Moldova. I am currently living in Toronto, Canada, and I'm a UX designer at TELUS Digital.
Love it. Nice, quick and short.
Yeah.
And again, I don't know. I always say the same, but it's honestly my favorite question. And every time everybody surprised me with this. But why don't you tell us like a fun or unique fact about you?
So, a unique fun fact about me, I have been learning Korean for quite a few years now. And I know, I like, that is a fun fact, isn't it? It's my fifth language as well. So I've been having such a great time for the past few years just learning it. I really love the language. So yeah, it's been really exciting to learn it.
Something that see I will never occur to me.
Yeah.
But what is that level? So can you go to Korea and easily move around?
I would say I can say words, I can ask for basic, so I'm not like any type advanced, but I think I know a few levels for sure. I feel a bit of conversational for sure there's a little bit there, but I need way more to learn to become that proficient and actually go around and be comfortable talking. Yeah, yeah.
And what are the other languages that you know then?
Well, I speak Romanian, English, Spanish, and Russian as well.
We
So
should be
yeah.
doing this in Spanish.
Yeah, we should. I can definitely do that.
Wow, nice. Love
Yeah,
it. Yeah, I
yeah,
didn't, I feel like we haven't never talked about this. I didn't know that
yeah,
you
yeah,
speak Spanish. That's super cool. Okay. Ooh, okay, that's why Spain, I mean, we were just talking about
yeah.
summer, but then you were like fluid. I don't know. Anyway, we can talk about this after. But thank you for sharing that. Love it. I was going to say I'm back in my Duolingo learning Mandarin. I started learning Mandarin maybe 12 years ago, but of course I stopped. And then it's been 12 years that I haven't done much. And you come back and it's like, oh, I will be like fluid if I have kept the momentum. But here we go again, starting from zero, and that's okay. That's okay. We stop
Yeah,
and
that's
come
okay.
back.
Hey, it's a lesson learned, right? Now you know. So
Now I know. I just have to keep it up with my. And I love Duolingo. I mean, I don't know how much I'm really learning because you just go 5-10 minutes per day, but
yeah.
that's something. Okay. Thank you for that. Before we start talking about community, I would love to
Mhm.
know about what did you do before UX? Because you are a career transitioner, yeah. So
Yeah.
what was the journey and what did you do before?
Yeah, so I am a career transitioner, and before that, I worked in customer experience roles in tech companies. And before that, I used to work in the hospitality industry. So I used to work in hotels as well, which is a lot of fun too. But I was kind of always a seeker and was always looking for that. I think that career that makes me feel excited and kind of aligns to that value of I want to continue to grow and to learn something new. And I think I was always looking for a career that allows me to do that. And yeah, come 2020, I think it was right at the start of the pandemic where I kept looking. You always have to, you always have to search. If it doesn't feel right for you, just go and search. So I was doing just that at that time. And I remember I came across just, UX design. I remember it was like August of 2020. And it just clicked, and I just knew right in that moment that this is what I wanted to do, and this is the career that I wanted to get into. And that's when my journey started to start learning and kind of start that transition time, and yeah, to become a UX designer. So
I mean, all of this sounds great, but then everything is not this easy. Yes, as like
oh god.
saying, oh, I just want to change careers and boom, everything happened. So if you can tell us a little bit of the challenges that you have faced by when you start switching careers, and how I think what a lot of people want to hear, mostly because we've been going all of us through the challenges, yes, but how did you overcome them? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely not easy. That I can say. It was, I actually never thought that I would be a career transitioner. I think it kind of came into the context of UX design and, switching careers. However, I think what I've discovered during that journey is that it wasn't necessarily difficult on acquiring hard skills or, learning how to use tools or learning how to use different programs and applications. I think the challenge for me was really based on the soft skills and the confidence and, dealing with that imposter syndrome that I know a lot of designers, especially when they're switching careers, are dealing with. So that was my kind of, that was something that I was struggling a lot, that confidence. And especially I like to think of myself, I'm a recovering perfectionist. And I think a lot of designers are a big, they like to do things as the best of their abilities. And a lot of people are high achievers, and that kind of applies to me as well. And trying to tone that down and kind of trust the process and build that confidence was extremely important to me. And I think the moment I realized that I was standing in my own way, and that's when I turned to mentors. And yeah, Juliet, you were also one of my mentors at that time. And I think a lot of the conversation that we had with a lot of the mentors that I had, it was not really around, let's build this design or let's do this, flow, but it was, that encouragement that, you're switching careers, it's going to be difficult, you have to take it step by step. We can't go to the top of the mountain today. You need to follow a process, you need to trust your journey. So the way I overcame that, I think it was the support of the mentors around me that saw that, and they were like, helping me along the way, and accepting that, to achieve your goal, it really takes small steps. So being okay with taking those small steps and getting to where you are and not getting it immediately, definitely helped on my journey. And it led me to, to landing my first job in the industry, and it led me to where I am today as well.
Love it. Yeah, like
Yeah.
yeah, you cannot get to the top of the mountain in a day or even in 2 or 6 months sometimes. And I think
Yeah.
That journey and how long it's going to take and how it's going to be different for all of us. So I think that's for whoever is there. When a lot of us tell our stories, it's important that each of us is unique and we come all from different backgrounds and we have different spaces. Okay. So September, we're talking all about community, and I want to know about yours. Yes. So if you can tell me a little more about your community, UX Design Talks, and what it motivates you started and how involved seems the first day.
Yeah. So actually, the community just turned 2 years old. I think we're at 2 years and a month. And how it started. It actually, so for everyone who doesn't know, I lead the UX design talk community based here in Toronto. It helps a lot of early stage designers just, bring that community together and work on projects and just keep that environment of encouragement and keep growing together. And it was born out of frustration. And I think this is so great. It really applies to the fact that, as a designer, you're looking to solve problems. And that was my problem. I think that I started the community in I think it was kind of like start of the pandemic. And at that time, I was a bootcamp student, and it was all remote. And I felt very alone, I think, in my experience as a student and, learning online. And I really wanted to be surrounded by other designers at the same level where I was in the same stage of my career. And there was at that time, a lot of the communities around me, they were kind of on a pause, and it was very understandable during that time. And I feel like I got a bit frustrated that, this is what I wanted, but then nobody was doing it. And it took me a few weeks to just kind of like, in a sense, like I can get angry on other people for not doing what I wanted. So I remember the time that I said, hey, I will do it. This is what I want for myself. So I will just go ahead and I'll create that community. And it started out of a self-need, and it was very personal. I think we're like learning and studying online. It's not exceptionally easy for if you're an extrovert or you're an ambivert. You want to be surrounded by others. And that was my goal at that time. Let's grow together. And that was kind of the premise of the community. And it stays to this day. We come together, same level, let's grow. And how it evolved over time, it's just, I would say, I always like to say the community grew itself. Members kept coming back, and their feedback. And would always think like, what can I do more? What can I provide more? So I think it evolved with myself as well in my journey as I kept going, because I transitioned from a boot camper and technically from customer experience roles to a UX designer while doing the community. I think I was 1 year in doing it. So I think it was really wonderful to have done that with people and seeing them grow at the same time. So yeah, it's been really fun being part
Oh,
of that journey as well.
I love it. And I love how you put it at the beginning, that is like, no one is doing it. Why no one is doing it?
Yeah,
Like, you were mad at people that
yeah,
don't know you, and it's
yeah,
like, oh,
exactly.
I can do it. Love it. And I feel like, seeing for us as designers and like UX designers, we think sometimes a lot about like how we can face this in a virtual way. Yes. And then for you, it's like, I really want to be around people. And I think that was the courage of you, like, just let's do it and see what happened. Um, how did I feel? Like, how was the first one? The first time that you invited people?
One person showed up, and and I will forever be grateful. I actually still keep in touch with him as well. Um, and the whole event completely took a different shape that it was supposed to happen. But because there was somebody there, I think that person was he really gave that encouragement that, hey, I'll do this again, I'll try it again. And I feel like it's always been an iteration with every event. But I think the first event kind of like makes it or breaks it in a way, because you're kind of thinking, will people come or not? And that also introduced me to the fact that people would sign up for events, but there's a likelihood that 50% are not going to come. So you're already being introduced to the aspects of business and
Yeah.
how building a community works. So yeah.
Love it. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I know these questions are not there, but and I feel I forgot to tell you, I will have surprise questions for you.
I love
But
surprise.
if you can take me about, like, how did that? How was that first event? Where did you pose? What was the
Mhm.
name of the event? Yeah.
Yeah, so the community lives on Meetup. And I think actually the first event was something related to the daily UI challenge. So we can meet and connect and do UI challenges. Obviously, that did not turn out the way it was supposed to turn out. The second event actually was an in-person event, like a very small group. And we had a really, really amazing turnout. It was such a great group of people as well. And it kind of took off from there. And I kept starting doing those events in person or online. And we have one that's been going on every month, which is the UX design critique. So yeah, that's kind of like what we're leaning into, doing that combination of online events and offline events as well.
Yeah, and I think that was going to be my next question.
Mm-hmm.
Like, as you've been doing this for a while and you went from 1 to 1,600 members in the
Yeah.
community,
Yeah.
building a community takes effort. This is not, again, out of the blue that happened. And it takes a lot of thinking in different strategies that could work best or not for. And this is trying things out. This is not like one day just works. And maybe, yeah, one day
Yeah.
maybe, like you were saying, the second one, a lot of people showed up and like, boom, I got it. Yes. So what are the strategies that you have find the most effective in growing and maintaining that community?
Yeah, so at its core, there were two strategies that, looking back now, I've been following. When you start, like when I started, it wasn't, and I didn't really have a goal, right? It was just kind of, this is what I wanted in that moment, and I just, I didn't kind of like, oh, this is a North Star. However, looking back now of what worked, I've always kind of looking at it as a business side of you, and I've always had a passion for entrepreneurship as well. Consistency. It's the number one thing that I really think works in every aspect, not necessarily even a community or even outside of communities. So even like when we look at the compound effect, right? If you do something consistently over a longer period of time, you will see results. And I think that I've started to understand that this is happening. Maybe I've been almost a year in when I started that membership, and people still coming to the events, and they're coming back to the events. And I've been doing events for the past 2 years every month without any, it would be either one or three or two every month. I would stay consistent no matter what. So I would say the strategy, um, just have something and do it consistently. And then the second thing that I realize it has a big impact, especially when it touches, if it's an early stage community, make people comfortable. And I think one of the things that I wanted to bring into my community, and I've been to other, events in the industry events before, where I felt so out of place, and I kind of wanted to have someone there to make me feel comfortable in that moment. And that's what I try to bring into every single one of my events, to make people comfortable. Especially like would have the design critiques, and of course it's so nerve-wracking to show your designs, especially when we're always encouraging designers to, show your bad stuff, show your, weird stuff, show your iterations. Don't show all the time like the finished designs, because you need to start from the start. And if we can't create an environment where designers feel comfortable and, feel in a space that they can bring their work and have it, critiqued in, that's by people they've never met, I think that would be very difficult. So creating that environment, I think it's been top of mind for me, and I think it really added value to the event that we've been doing. So it would be consistency and creating a stage where people feel comfortable sharing and bringing themselves wholly to the community, to the events that we're doing.
I love that. And I mean, talking about consistency, and I think that tied up really well with the next question, because like you were saying, this is not just about creating community, but consistency just work for absolutely everything. Yes, just showing up regardless of how we feeling in one moment, if we have inspiration or not, we just there. But for someone who's interested in switching careers and going into UX design, um, what do you think are the skills and the size that make you successful on the field?
Um, there's a lot that I think that makes you successful in the field. Um, it can be, I think hard skills are important, okay, and that's, having your work, it's very important. I think a lot, and now working in industry, a lot of it comes to how do you collaborate with others, and a lot of it comes to soft skills. So I would say again about two things on that. Soft skills on, how do you work with others, are you looking at the business aspect of a company, so are you like updated with what's happening in the company and how it relates to your design as well. And yeah, I would say on that, would be the knowing how to connect with others. However, another aspect that I find very important, it's really great to actually have a passion for design because you're gonna have bad days and you're gonna have good days, and you need that when you have the bad days, and that's normal. I mean, I feel like with every career that the people go through, there's gonna be ups and downs as well. So have that, know why you're doing it, because at some points you might not feel, you might not feel great, and then you have to look back and this is why I'm doing this, and this is what is learning I'm learning in the moment. So that's, I find, for me, was very important to understand, and of course stay up to date with all the technological advancements or anything that's happening in the industry. Stay connected with people, and yeah, communication, I think, it's one of the greatest things, and it applies to every aspect of your work as well. So
Absolutely, everything that we do is collaborating and communicating our work.
yeah.
And is, yeah, I feel like when people ask me that question, like, what kind of tool do I need to know? What is this, like, communicating? I mean, more than a tool is like
Yeah,
really
80%.
80%. Yeah, like all the time. Even I feel like when you are designing, like how do you communicating that work with different people around you is again all about communication. Um, okay. I know that you, again, both of us, we're kind of new into the industry, but we have seen how the field have evolved and have changed. Yes. During the time, how this has been evolving for the years, and what advice would you give someone coming? And if they want, I mean, you talked a little bit about the skills, but how do you kind of stay ahead in an environment that is changing so much, just because we are part of tech? I think that's one of the biggest things. Yes.
Mhm.
And tech is involved in everything, but how do we stay like up to date?
I think it's very exciting what's happening right now in the industry, and it's really one of the reasons I got into it as well, is for that potential of growth and learning. And as I mentioned, number one, what are the news, what is happening, what are the updates, what are the what's new in tech, how will this appeal to UX design, and how can you bring it up into your work. So I would say stay excited, because I think it's great. There's so many things coming on our way to learn and to introduce in our designs. But also, of course, there are so many people to follow. There are so many articles coming out, or anything that's new. Learn about it. Keep being informed as well, and bring it into your designs. I wouldn't say like bring everything at the same time. I feel like a lot of people feel very overwhelmed with the amount of information that comes all the time in our industry, and I think it's quite reasonable. But we want to. The industry is evolving, and it's been evolving for a very long time as well. And we want to evolve with it. We want to grow and transform with it, and we can do it slowly as well. We can understand, like, okay, these are the new things that are coming. How can I use this small thing to add it into my work right now? Or this is something that I know it's coming up soon, let me learn more about it. Like, let me read an article about it so I stay informed, or let me talk to someone who knows more about it as well. So I think knowledge is kind of the main answer that I have for this question, and staying informed, and yeah, don't, I would say, don't be scared of the change. Kind of grow with it, because I think we have some great opportunities coming on our way, that if we kind of like jump on this wagon, we're going to have a good time learning more about it.
Love it. And I feel like, I mean, we share a little bit about the community. We share about
Mhm.
a little bit of UX. Now we're putting these two things together. Yes, it's not easy. I mean, it's not easy transition into any career because that takes a lot of effort. But then you started a community and now you have a job and you still have a community.
Yeah.
So how do you balance these two? Yes, there is, I mean, as you know, I mean, I do this and I do other million things.
All the million
So
things.
yes. So how do you balance a full-time job and building a community plus the other side, the other things that you have on the side?
Yeah, very good question on on that. Um, I would say balance is really important, and it's good to be involved in a lot of things at the same time. I think we have a lot of the hustle culture going on as well, and it's great to have to be busy and do your own thing as well after work. I think it's a real possibility of burnout, and I think it's very important to understand how to balance that in both. You want to stay, feel okay while doing everything that you need. I think one of the things, specifically when it comes to a community, and I've learned, and it was quite recent, you can't do it alone. And for a very long time, I kind of didn't tap into that advice. I was trying to kind of do everything at the same time, and yeah, it was getting a bit, I don't say tiring, but you're not operating, like, you're not working at the same level that you wanted to work, because you want to bring your 100%, especially when it comes to the community. So help is very important to have, and I think for some people it comes very easily. For me personally, it's really hard to ask for help, and I had one mentor mentioned, okay, maybe you can't do it, as you mentioned as well, like doing a million things at the same time. You can't do this alone and expect to operate at your 100% all the time. So definitely build a team, or ask for help, and look into delegating the things that you can delegate, and do something new, or like do the things that you can do best for yourself. And really tap into our hobbies, and make sure you disconnect. I think it's very important. It's really easy to know, to have a kind of like go through a bad time if you don't take care of yourself personally, and especially when you work a very long time. But if you make sure you disconnect, you still do the things that you love outside of work, outside of your professional life, and also allow yourself to receive help from other people, it's way easier. And again, the other thing, I think that really works for me as well, I really enjoy it. Like, I generally just enjoy bringing this community to life and helping other people, and it gives me a sense of you're doing something to help others, and it doesn't feel like work after work. It feels like, oh, this is fun, let's see what we can do more, or let's see what the community wants to see next. So it's mostly, I see it in a very self-development, very interesting, fun way to do things. So I don't feel like tired or anything like that. But definitely help, and when you need it, I think it really makes all the difference.
What type of help are you getting right now?
Would be volunteers for the events, and advice, and a lot of if I would kind of like have any questions or I'm running into a wall and I need help, I definitely have people now to turn to and kind of tell them the, not only the ups when it comes to that, but also the downs, and how can I get out of it, or how can I feel better about this, or how can I do it without feeling overwhelmed, without feeling that I'm pushing too hard. So yeah, it's really been something quite new to me, and it's been this year, and I had a lot of people tell me that you can't do it alone, and it's something that it's definitely been a learning experience in building a community, because if you want to build something, and it's yeah, you go together. Going alone, it's only going to take you so far, but if you want to go bigger, you definitely have to turn and to allow people to help.
Nice, love it. Yes, I feel like just thinking about when we started Cherry and Tech at the beginning of the year, bringing new people, we were expecting just to have one tech squad, so just one team, and we ended up having
Mhm.
four. It's like we cannot handle 24 people. Yes, like we can even handle the two of us as the
Yeah.
co-founder. So we ended up bringing a lot of like help, and I think something that we learned from the one and now that we're going in the two is that we needed even more help. Yeah, so now we're bringing more people and that part of delegating, and more people that know the information that is going on, more people that can put energy in that, and I can put energy in something else too. So it's a win-win for everybody. So definitely ask for help. I like, for me, for example, the podcast. I'm getting your help here by you talking about
Mhm.
this, so I don't have to come up with these ideas by myself. Yeah, like it would be a lot of effort if I do it every week, like I have tried it, and that takes so much time. And I rather to have different type of voices and diverse people in the channel to share who they are and how they can make it. So yes, please ask for help. Okay. What are some of the most rewarding aspects of being a UX designer and a community building, and that keeps you passionate? And I feel like um, maybe I haven't asked. Maybe I would ask this question before we go into this. You told me a little bit about building a community, and then you told me a little bit about your experience as a UX designer. But how these two have been evolving together. And do you think that the community building has something to do about who you are as a designer today and about how you found the job? Is anything in relationship to one to another?
Yeah, I so it definitely has a big influence. I think um yeah, it was one of the best, like one of the best things that I've done personally, and I would say it didn't influence directly the role that I have right now. However, what I've learned through this community is really the skills of leadership, and that is something that has helped me in my current role to advance in my current role. So that was very important. But yeah, they're definitely very connected, and I think growing through this, it's yes, you're increasing your design skills, you're increasing your technical skills as well, and your hard skills, but the network that you're creating around you, I think it's very important. And as we all know, transitioning into a new career, you can have everything ready, but right now it's all about the network that you have around you, the people you surround yourself with, and the connection that you create. And I think having a community to allow you to do that, it's extremely important. So for me personally, it was all about we grow together, we make that connection as well. But as an organizer and as a community builder, and why I would suggest anyone who has a passion to build a community, just get started, like just literally get it out there. That's all, because it really is a lesson in leadership and organization, and it helps you better as a person, and that translates into my designs. And in our designs, we always have to defend our designs, or we have to increase our communication skills. We have to communicate with other people. We have to always kind of, as we talked about communication and looking around and trying to form those connections, the community allows me to do that on a different level. It's kind of like a practice, and it's a continuous practice and iteration. So it really has been an incredible experience. And they did grow together, because I did grow from a boot camper, right? So, like a person before having a life in design. And it allowed me to become more confident in my interview process, and to show that, hey, this is what we've been doing, and this is how it's helping us increase our skills as well. So 100%, they're all you they're very interconnected. You will, one way or the other, you will grow new skills that you didn't even know like you had, or you will improve on skills that you had before as well.
Love it. And thinking about the critiques, like the design critiques that you do in your events, is like, I mean, we do design critiques every day when we go to work. Yeah, this is like how we live our lives every time that we present our work. So how do you think that just thinking about the first time that you create the event, like the design critiques, and now I imagine that have evolved, and you personally have mass experience about what other designers is saying to different design work, and that goes really deep to how we think and how we see things and how we design. Yes. So how do you think that these events on design critique have helped you to your own design?
Oh, it's been amazing. I think it's been amazing in a way that you don't know that you're learning. And then it appears into other aspects, at work, for example, when I see other designs, and it gives you such a sharp eye for things. And, I don't even pay attention. I just look at the designs and say like, oh, this works, this can be improved. I think it's been such a great experience, because you learn without learning. You learn without learning, like, you without even noticing, right? You just when you look at so many things, and we had so many designers coming to the critiques, and you see how they critique, and you look at all the small things, and you're like, oh, I didn't know that. I should have, you can. It's very incredible to see aspects and perspectives that you haven't noticed. So it's definitely, I think it gives you a sharp eye for design. And I like the fact that you are passively learning. And when you see so many projects, because it's been like 2 years already, and you kind of see a lot of differences and a lot of similarities, and you can help other people as well, what works and what doesn't work. But I really love that type of passive learning, because you realize that you know things when another moment comes along outside of the community, and you're like, oh, I know this because I've seen it there. So 100%, I think when you're being exposed to aspects of design, or new projects, or portfolios, or case studies, you learn. Like, there's just no way you cannot learn things. And it really allows for my work individually to also become better, and to improve my skills as well, while helping others at the same time.
Yeah, love that. Yeah, so nice. How scary was the first time that you did a design critique event?
Oof. Yeah, that. I would say the design critiques are very. It's like a box of chocolate, right? Like, It's very. It's it's a lesson in trust, right? When I come to the events, it all depends on the designers that are going to show up and present their designs. And it's always, you kind of like, I hope there's going to be somebody there that wants to present their designs. Okay, so it's been 2 years of this, and I'm just like mind blown people, they come and they wanna present, and they wanna give feedback, and they're so involved, and they wanna help their fellow peers as well. So it's really, for me, it's been a lesson in I a lesson in trust, right? Because I do depend on everybody else to come and to want to show, and to want to become, they're active in the event. And my goal for that is to create that space, that comfortable space where people can share. Because I see a lot of designers come in, and they don't know what to expect. They don't know how is it going to be. They don't know, is it going to be scary, or am I ready to do that or not? My designs are not ready. But then, and they would say, like, I'm okay today, I just want to give feedback, or today I just want to watch. But we're kind of halfway through, and people would be, hey, I want to present today. And I think that, to me, is the biggest success when it comes to an event, when you were able to create that space for our designers to feel comfortable, to, this is a good space where I can grow in that moment. So it's always been a lesson in trust. Definitely, at the start, there was always kind of that fear. What is it going to happen if we don't have that, or that? But over time, I became more comfortable with it, and we can always, again, we can always transform the conversation. We can always iterate in the moment. And I really like that, because it's kind of like an adventure, right? It doesn't have to be always super, like, by the book and organized. It's always, how can we make some changes to things? And yeah, I like that aspect of a bit of I won't say fear, but a little bit of, ooh, I wonder how many people would love to show up today and be engaged. And it's always a surprise. It's really been no two events are the same, really.
Love it. And I feel like this made me think so much about what happened at work. Yes, is you never know. You never know when you're presenting your work, and when you're talking
Yeah.
to people, what is going to happen. So I feel that all of these really prepares to people for the real deal of, like, going to work. So love it.
Yeah,
Okay. So
predictability.
yeah. Like, and again, I was just thinking about your first event, and again, like, you had to change the idea that you had for that event, and you've been just getting so good at every time that you're excited about surprises and
Yeah.
how that can change. Yes, love
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
Okay, so outside of your professional life, you mentioned that you're interested in hobbies. So
Mhm.
how those activities influence your career or approach to community building?
Oh, so yeah, I'm really an adventurous person. And I feel like some of my hobbies that I mentioned would be, like, I like running obstacle course races, or I like meditation. I recently just came from a sailing trip. So I love adventure, and I love the sense of, what's the discovery, and, just being curious about things. I think the reason why I love doing these types of things is because they get me out of my comfort zone. So when we're talking about, like say like meditation, or like obstacle course races, I will reach a wall, right? Like it's really like a mental wall that my challenge is to break through it. And it's so fascinating to know, like, how am I going to do this, like, what is stopping me in my way, or like what is blocking me in this moment. So I really love to do that in my personal time, and I really can see it I always see it transitioning into my professional life, because even there's so many, even with the community, right, there's so many, fears, or kind of anxieties that come along the way. There's so many times, like, when you do something and you create something on your own, there's so much self-doubt, and that tiny voice in your head, like, you can't do this, or you can't do that, or anything like this. And I encounter that voice as well when I do things that get me out of my comfort zone in my hobbies. But in that moment, it's like, no, I'm gonna do this because this is fun. So let me show you, let me prove you that I can do this. And I see this applied to everything that I do in my professional life as well. It's that back and forth. And how can I reach and go beyond boundaries, and how can I break through my limits, is definitely a parallel. It was like in my recent trip that I've done, which is sailing. It was things change so quickly, very like it was so unpredictable, and it was something that you couldn't expect. And this kind of applies to the work that I do as well. Like things can change so quickly. So how can you change in that moment? How can you go with the flow? How can you accept what is happening in the moment and kind of iterate from there and kind of transform from that moment? So they're definitely very, very connected. Yeah.
Love it. I mean, you keep mentioning you love surprises and adventure. Um, I mean, again, when you were telling me that you were sailing in a boat in the ocean with 10 people that you don't know, that's
Yeah.
really adventurous. Yes. I
This
don't
is so much fun.
yes. Yes. I don't know how I feel about that, but yes. Okay. Um so you have changed careers, you have built community. If someone is looking to do this, what advice you will give them?
Uh, really enjoy the journey and have fun doing it. Yeah, just do it. Do it against, do it scared, do it anxious, do it afraid, do it alone. There's just go for it. And I would say definitely appreciate where you are in the journey and go with it. But it's also something that enjoy it. It's really, I feel like a lot of us are very serious when it comes to career transitioning, and it makes sense. We want those roles, we want to work those jobs, and we want to make an impact and bring that change that we want to create through our designs. For example, when I was in my junior stage, I really had a great time, being a junior, because you have so many perks as a junior. You can ask a million questions, and you can be the, I don't know anything, like I would love to learn about this. So I think it's so great because you don't have any pressure on you to be at the top of your game all the time. So it's have that trust in yourself, and really enjoy where you are in your career. And yeah, you're gonna have a good time. That will definitely be something that I would say even to me like 3 years ago, or when I started on this career path. So
Nice. Yes. What is happening when UX design talks? So where we can find you, what to expect in the future, what is going on?
yeah, the main community is on Meetup, and then we have the community is also on LinkedIn, also UX Design Talk. We have a few things in mind coming up, some in-person events. We're getting ready in Toronto here too, but also, again, we always have guest speakers, and then the design critiques, and then some design challenges coming up, which I'm very excited about as well. And yeah, we're always kind of open for feedback and suggestions, and I'm always on lookout what do designers need today to advance in their roles, and also to kind of help them on the journey. So yeah, we're quite excited what the next year is going to bring.
What about for Cristina? What is coming for Cristina?
Oh, uh, a lot. That's a very good question as well. I would say I'm definitely. It comes back to, actually, why is it a good question? It comes back to the question that we had before about the balance. So I definitely love what I'm doing right now, both in my professional and personal life. It's that for me is to keep that balance. So I would love to do a million things, and I have so many ideas and creativity in my head, but I want to do that as well, while making sure that I don't kind of do way too much. So that would probably be it. Focus a lot on the design aspect, focus on personally learning way more that I know right now. And there's never not enough information for design. There's just so much to learn all the time. But also making sure that keep the community on the same path, and again, we grow together. and implement that into my work as well, which is very excited how everything that's happening kind of like surrounding my life, it's all connected in a way, which makes it way a little bit easier to navigate all the changes and the growth that comes with it.
Perfect. Well,
Yeah.
see, it was easy. It was easy. You did great. Thank you so much, Cristina. I
Yes,
love
which
to
is
see
really
you. I love to hear everything that is happening with you. And thank you so much for opening the community and having like that space in Toronto. So all the information is somewhere here. Find Cristina. Yes, thank you so much. And you never know. Maybe I bring you next year for a different topic too. Now that you're an expert.
not an expert. Definitely a lot to learn still, but such a joy, Juliet. It was amazing, and yeah, really thank you for inviting me to
Yeah,
speak today.
anytime. And in the next 2 weeks, we're going to have, the next 2 weeks of September, we're going to have more speakers talking about community. But I'm super excited about October. October, I'm going to bring people that I have worked with that is super excited to just talk about how we've been working together. November is all about DEI, it's the whole month about DEI. So if you don't want to lose any of this and you want to make sure that you watch us and you hear us and listen to us, UX and TAME, anywhere that you look for us. So again, Christina, thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye.